so Karen, we were able to use a good amount of our down payment on our home using a whole life policy because she had contributed to that over the years, built up some cash value.
Yep.
We were able to take it out, non-taxable.
Correct.
Right, and then be able to use that for our beautiful home.
Absolutely.
And that's really what it's about. If you tried to save up, put it into a 401k, as soon as you take that money out, you're taxed.
Exactly.
Right. So, and it's 50%.
Yep.
Right. So you get that automatic, and you get a 10% penalty on top of that.
Exactly.
Right. So depending on your tax bracket and all that, but your tax ordinary income, and then you also have a 10% penalty.
Yep.
But you can use the $10,000 exclusion in terms of that 10% penalty. But still, it's half. Right. Versus when you put money into a life insurance policy. And you continue to make those payments, you build up that cash value. But what you're saying, it goes beyond just the traditional whole life. Correct. Because what you have is you can put a sum of money into an investment.
Yep.
It grows. Yep. And that cash flow sometimes or appreciation on that money, sometimes that's just enough to live on.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So now you're taking that amount that is growing.
Yep.
You're not even touching principal.
That's it.
You are living off of
the compounded interest.
The compounded interest.
Correct.
And the principal stays how it is.
Correct. And so that's a thing that, depending on where you are as it pertains to your economic starting point, you either build that, like the families we talked about, or you have certain things that happen. Who knows? You win the lottery, right?
Yeah.
A lot of athletes have won the lottery, right?
Right.
Or you're a CEO at a corporate structure. You're making good money, right?
Yeah.
So I did a illustration run on myself, and if I would have just put in 50% of the income that I made, had I known this,
right?
50% of the income that I made in my 10 years, the worst that I would be making annually, is $120,000 a year off of compounded interest.
Wow.
At the height, it would be around $350.
Oh man.
Guaranteed. While my money was still growing. Right?
Yeah.
So we're in Texas.
Yeah.
Even with the prices being what they are, you are going to be fine off of that.
Oh, you're gonna have an amazing life and no stress.
Exactly. Right.
You could not even. I mean, and I think that's why people they join the military, right?
Yes.
So they have that pension.
Correct.
And back in the day, and this is something that's really interesting. Before there was a 401k, companies would pay people a pension after they retired.
Yes.
But I think this is kind of a combination of companies and also financial companies that said, wait a second, instead of paying them a pension, why don't we put the onus on the individual?
That's it.
And have them invest and cover that pension. And now you just have to do this matching program, but your amount is going to be so much less. But they didn't factor in the educational side of it.
That's the part I wanted you to talk about.
Right?
Absolutely.
They didn't teach people how to do it.
Correct.
It doesn't come natural.
No. Like what did we learn about? I didn't learn this in school. I went to a major university. I was taught by some of the greatest professors in the country, in the world.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told me this.
I got an MBA in finance, and they didn't teach me about a 401k.
So there you go. So even when
I learned by working at Merrill Lynch, right?
See?
And selling it.
Exactly.
That's how I learned about it.
So the person that invented that, right, the 401k, Ted Benham, right? All right, they call him the father of the 401k. His original ideology on that was really not just about putting the onus on the individual or on the worker, but it was also a way for him to be able to maximize the pension by allowing them to understand how to slowly play in the stock market. Right? That's what it was originally for.
Right.
But then what happened was the government, as it does, Uncle Sam's, not
yeah.
uncle of mine, but y'all uncle, right? Put his little greedy tips in there, and then brought in the financial industry to do the same.
Yep.
Right. And so now that's when you have situations like what happened in 2008 and then the pandemic. People's livelihoods are being played with. Right.
Yeah.
And not to push my product, because I want to stay with that, but like that's the whole point of what I'm talking about. Instead of us putting our money into that entity to which we know is going to do what it's going to do, right? We could save for our retirement here.
Yeah.
Right, and allow that money to grow uninterrupted. And then the beautiful thing is, you just talked about being able to take a down payment out of that. There was no penalty for that. right? There
No.
was no credit check for that. There was no, oh, we don't have a job. I can't pull the money because, you know, they're looking for.
There's
we
no
can pay
loan
them
on it,
back
nothing.
loan. There
Yeah.
was nothing on that.
Yep.
It was literally, I want this, give it to me, it's in there.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep.
Mr. Bruno, here you go.
Yep.
Right? So now I looked at Ted Benner and I said, let me find or follow the father of the 401k, only to come across a book called The 501k Plan.
Oh, okay.
Right? So if you haven't read this, go get it.
All right.
Because in his book, guess what Ted Benner is talking about? What we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out this, that the person that invented the 401k doesn't even have 95% of his wealth in his own invention.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So that should tell us something, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so it's these type of things. I find that success is found in the boring. I can't tell you what's going on with the Hulu series. I don't know what team's going to go to the NFL. I mean, go to the playoffs or the Super Bowl.
Right.
I don't know what LeBron James is doing, but I know this.
Yeah.
Because I study this. We're talking hours upon hours. And I'm finding that success is found in the mundane and it's found in the boring.
Right.
And if you really want to be successful in this country, you're going to have to pick up the old books.
Yeah.
You got to pick up the old books because that's where the wealth is found.
Right.
The art of passing the buck. This deals with certain types of trust, right? Not just legislative trust, but trust that operate off of constitutional law. A lot of people don't even know that those trusts are available. And the power of what they do.
Wow.
Right? So that's something that's a little nugget for them to study. We won't give them everything.
No. You can follow Tony and have all of the all that knowledge and the you have seminars and events and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get into that. We can get into that later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.